as well.
Yeah, and as you can tell, time is running out to get your emergency kit ready if you don't already have one ready to go. Every second, every minute matters.
We've got some help right here in studio. Peterson with the American Red Cross joining us this morning to actually show us some of the things that we need in prepping for a storm and just getting that kit together.
That's right. We try to tell people three things when we're preparing for a big storm like this. First, you need to make a preparedness kit, you need to make a plan, and then you need to figure out how you're going to stay in the loop about the information for the storm, listening to your Office of Emergency Management, listening to the Weather Channel, and also we have information on our Red Cross app. So we have some items here from our preparedness kit. These are a smaller, rough example of some of the things you all should be packing for your kit. So you want to have supplies of 3 days for things like toiletries for every single member of your family, toothbrush, soap, a razor to shave, simple things like that, to flashlights, maybe some medicine, if you may need for 3 days. And then also first aid kits. And something down there, we were talking about this before we had the camera on us, something simple like this, that's actually a whistle.
Oh, wow.
And think about it, how many times have you seen stories or heard stories of people who may have been trapped somewhere and then they need to get attention to somebody.
They're calling for help.
It's the only method of signaling. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then making a plan. Once you've got your kit together, and also things like that for your pets too, people who may be staying with you, how are we going to use this? Thinking about what's our evacuation plan? Where is the high ground? And then also staying in communication, figuring out how you can listen to the National Weather Service.
Evacuation, knowing your zone has been such a huge topic. So if people are ordered to evacuate, should they even bother putting a kit together, or do you put a kit together but you alter it a little bit, you change it up a bit?
Well, we would always encourage people to have this kit ready wherever they're going to go, because wherever they may be traveling to, as you know, when a storm happens, they could get stranded somewhere, and they were going to need to rely on a kit like this to have and to go wherever they may be.
So there's your to-go bag, and then there's your kit, or is it the same thing?
Nope, those are separate. So you'll have something like for your clothes and things like that, like maybe some luggage, again, things that can keep you safe for 3 days. But the emergency kit, those are going to be your essential supplies to possibly save you and keep you going for that 3-day period.
It's interesting. If you're an individual, it seems like it'd be an easy endeavor. But let's say you've got a family of 4 or 5 or 6.
Right.
You extrapolate the amount, right?
Absolutely. Your grandparents who may be staying with you, pets, they may be staying with you. If they're part of the family, you need to make a plan for them too.
And, when it comes to evacuating and having that plan, where to go, how to get there, where to meet up maybe with extended family,
that's right.
That's also important as well.
Absolutely. And again, if they're part of your family, if you identify them as your family, contact them, have that conversation, figure out where can we meet, how are we going to stay in communication, and again, also relying on those emergency services, figuring out how you can get that information, just figuring out what roads may be closed that you can't go to, where a shelter might be.
It's so interesting. We were talking about the population of Florida. Have roughly 21 million people. 77% of the population lives near coastal or in coastal communities, and the population is growing. So there are a lot of people where this information is very new.
Yeah, and we've been encouraging people. We have a lot of information on our websites where we're telling people, if you've never packed one of these preparedness kits before, it's very elementary. There's a lot of tips and tricks we have on our Red Cross preparedness apps. You can find those on Apple devices or Android devices, or going on our website. We'll walk you through how to make one of these kits for yourselves, for every member of your family.
Just a few seconds left, Evan, but what about after a storm? We're dealing with the aftermath. Any advice there?
Aftermath, I would just stay in contact with your Office of Emergency Management, figuring out what that means for them, and then also staying in touch with your family, figuring out what your next plans are going to be and how you need to respond to do what's best for you all.
Service, dedication, compassion. For 140 years, the American Red Cross has been there. We thank you so much for your time this morning. A wealth of information, and let's hope for safe times for everyone ahead. Evan